and welcome to Just a Chat Ministries. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Craig.
Today we're going to discuss Jesus' claim in John 14:6, where he said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." Well, many religions claim to know God, but Jesus claims to be the way, the truth, and the life.
That sounds quite arrogant, Andrew, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, the only way? Exclusive? Like, yeah, tell me more.
Well, I would say, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, it's an arrogant claim if he isn't who he said he was. And that is something we will look at in future videos, how we do believe Jesus is God. For now, I would like to point you to just one verse, and it's Philippians 2 and verses 5 and 6, where it says Jesus is by nature God. So yeah, it's arrogant if he isn't who he claimed to be.
Absolutely. So, why, Andrew, can't there be many ways? Because I know that, and it's touching on arrogance again, that many people go, well, whatever's true is true for you. So how can Jesus be the only way to God? How can't everyone be right?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you've heard on TV shows and news broadcasters them just going, well, all religions are the same, really, aren't they? They're just teaching us, be a good person, love your neighbours, don't cause any trouble, that's all fine. The problem is that we're talking about how we approach a perfectly holy God who is both loving but is also just. So it can't just be do what you like and try and do your best, because that's not God's standard. God revealed his standard through the Old Testament, the Ten Commandments, for example: you shalt not murder, steal, shalt not commit adultery. And as we looked at in our other videos, like, if we examine ourselves and we're honest, we all fall short of that standard. So us trying to balance the scales, if you like, try and do enough good deeds to outweigh our bad, it doesn't really work. Because if you're in court, it doesn't matter how much good you've done. It's their crime. It's the crime that they're trying you for. They're not weighing up your good deeds and your bad deeds. It's whether you've committed a crime or not that's the issue. So we are all guilty, and we believe that it's only through Jesus that it's possible to reconnect with God, because it's not about what we can do, it's about what he's done.
Yeah. And Jesus, he sticks out like a sore thumb among religion, in terms of religion is so outward. It never gets to the core. It's all about do this, say this, pray this many times a day, wear this. It's all external. It doesn't get internal. But Jesus just comes and he just exposes our hearts, like boom, like Mark 7, out of the heart comes sexual immorality, lust, greed, gossip, slander, etc. And your heart is just laid bare, because the truth is we all fall short, and we can all resonate somewhat with those things.
Yep.
Maybe in different grades, sure, but we can all resonate somewhat in our lives that we've lived here on earth in those things. And yeah, religion, it just doesn't get to the core, but Jesus, he does. He exposes the heart, but he doesn't leave us naked and bare, exposes our heart and goes, that's it, I'm here just to condemn you. No, the Son of the Man was not sent into the world to condemn the world, but to save us and restore us back to right relationship with God, Andrew. So, yeah. So what does that leave for us? So God will change our hearts, right?
Yeah. Well, in the Old Testament, the Jewish scriptures, it's prophesied that God will remove the heart of stone and give us a heart of flesh. So a heart that can love as it's supposed to, a heart that can turn back to God. But Jesus didn't just claim to be the way, he also claimed to be the truth. And truth claims are quite a big deal in our culture. A lot of people will just say, well, if it's true for you, great.
That's that complicated thing. It's called cultural relativism. And it sounds really complicated, but it's really not. It's in our society. I hear it all the time as a Christian.
Good for you, mate, but I've got my own thing. Yeah.
Exactly, that's it. And if it's true for you, then that's great, but I don't want anything to do with you. But that doesn't make any sense, because if it's true, then it's of infinite implications, in the words of C.S. Lewis. It can't be moderately important, right?
Yeah.
If it's true, whether I like that or not.
Yep.
And yeah, our society, it's more it's not necessarily an intellectual problem when it comes to that. It's a problem of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
People intellectually, they go, oh, if God gave me a sign, I'd believe in God. Look outside. Why have you got a heart that beats without you even thinking about it, in a body, and you're living in a real physical world? Like, is this all just by chance? Like, God, the miracle of life itself is enough. Romans 1 says that,
Yep.
to point to the divine character and nature of God.
If there always was nothing, there always still would be nothing. Like all the laws of thermodynamics go with that. Like, you don't go from chaos to order.
Yeah.
You go from order to chaos. Everything winds down. It doesn't wind up, so to speak.
Like, another one that we can talk about as well is morality.
Hmm.
So, we don't have time to go really into detail, but how do I know the difference between what's right and what's wrong?
Well, if I punched you in the face...
Please don't do
No,
that.
I'm not going to. Don't worry.
Thank you.
But if I did, how do we tell whether that's right? It might
Well-
make me really happy. You might have really annoyed me.
Mm.
That might give me great joy to punch you in the face.
Yeah,
Because
sure it does.
you've annoyed me.
Little annoying baby face you
Mhm.
misled
I
me.
know, absolutely. But
Yeah.
there has to be a definition of right and wrong, not just based on how we feel in the moment, right?
Yeah. Because like, at the end of the day, when I say murdering is wrong, I'm getting that morality from the Bible, right?
Mhm.
God says quite clearly, "Do not murder." That's one of the commandments.
Yeah.
It's very easy to see. It's, if you ask your neighbour who's not a Christian, they'll say, "Of course, murdering's wrong." Well,
Mhm.
you'd like to think that, and
Yeah.
your next door neighbour is a serial killer in that. But in all sincerity, like, so where are they getting their morality from? And it's not an arrogant thing that I'm saying here, but in all honesty, if you're not a Christian and you're not getting your morality from the Bible, how can you say that murdering's wrong?
Yeah. If there is
If
no
it-
ultimate authority,
No,
it
if
is
it's
just
a big bang that's
society
creating
over time.
this-
And that's the problem, because we sit and we judge people like Hitler for almost wiping out all the Jews in Germany and throughout Europe. We condemn people like Stalin for massacring his own population, and Mao in China.
Mm.
Like, we condemn these people. But why? If they were doing what was best for their society at the time, how can we say it's wrong?
As we say, we could speak so much more on this, but yeah, we're just scratching the surface here. But why is Jesus truth then? Why is Jesus truth?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I believe Jesus is the truth because he's God, ultimately.
Mm.
Like, Colossians 1 tells us that he is the creator of all things, and everything was created by and for him. So he is the one that decides and sets the standard, and he gave us that standard. Like we discussed in one of our other videos, when Jesus was asked what's the greatest commandment? Love God with all your heart, soul, body, strength, and love your neighbour as yourself. That's the standard. If you love your neighbour, you're not going to murder them. You're not going to steal from them. If you love your wife, you're not going to commit adultery. Like, if you love your neighbour as yourself, you're not going to do all of these things that God commands is wrong.
So the third one is, how is Jesus the life? So we know that Jesus lived what the Bible calls a perfect life that
Yeah.
none of us could live. Do you want to expand a little further on that?
Yeah, the Bible tells us that Jesus was tempted in all points like as we are, yet without sin. So essentially, that means he's experienced all the range of emotions that we could, with our human nature, our desires, but yet he didn't give in to those desires.
Mm.
He was without sin.
Yeah.
So he had that perfect life. And because he had that perfect life, he's able then to give it up
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah, it says in 1 Peter that, Christ the righteous died for us the unrighteous to bring us back to God. So like we can't live that perfect life, but Jesus on this earth, he lived that life, and he took our place. And in the same way, substitution. Last night in the Tottenham game where they won, Laurenti came on for Wanyama, I think it was, and he took his place on the field. Jesus took our place because we deserve God's judgment.
Yep.
And the death that we deserve, that cross that was destined for us, he has taken that.
You've probably gathered I'm not as big a football fan as Craig. He's
Yeah,
got all the football
sorry.
references.
Yeah, all the football
I
references.
don't.
It shows, the differences. It's good though. It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
much,
you're a rugby
much,
man.
much more rugby man. Yeah. Jesus is the life because not only did he give his perfect life for us, the result of that giving, when we believe in him, is that we can have what the Bible calls eternal life.
Mm.
So an existence after
Yeah.
all that we see around us passes away.
Yeah.
So it's a huge, huge deal. Like, if Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and it's knowing that is the difference between eternal separation from God, like, or eternal life.
Yeah. And like,
It's worth knowing.
to conclude as well the video, like, you're probably thinking, oh, who are these two plums here? One from Northern Ireland, one from Scotland. Thinking, oh man, these guys. But the truth is, look at these claims. Consider them.
They're big claims.
They're massive claims, but is there evidence behind it? Or is what we're saying just a load of jargon, or we're just a load of... Yeah, Andrew's really intellectual, I'm not, but it's just hot air, and what I'm saying is just, God, my parents are Christian, so I'm a Christian. Or are these things actually something to consider, right, and look into?
Mhm.
Because the truth is, it's overwhelming, the evidence that is there.
Yeah.
Desire it. We challenge you to desire it. You might not have desired it before, but we challenge you to desire it.
And please, if you think we're wrong, get back to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we said in our video on the resurrection, if Christ didn't rise from the dead, we're to be pitied above all people, because, well, we've just wasted our time, we've wasted your time, and we're not about that. We want you to know what's true.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching.